We have to make sure we mention that there is a reflections grant available. Hopefully everybody's writing a grant for National PTA. I don't
I just did mine, what, a few days ago.
I'm so proud of you. I've
Ooh,
actually gotten that grant. Do you know there's only two for reflection?
yeah, there's only two, and
And
it's
I've gotten it.
1,200. You've
Yeah,
gotten it? Okay, I
I've
hope you'll
gotten
get
it.
it.
Yeah. And we hosted a um it was during COVID. It was when you couldn't
Uh,
have anybody in the school. So it was our very first in-person event. And we had a spoken word poet come in and do a workshop. And then he did a poetry jam, like workshop 1 week. And then the next week he came in and facilitated our poetry jam for us. And then all those winners go on to the county and then so on and
that's
so
so
forth. But that was 4 years ago. And we're this year, obviously, we've done it every year since then. So the kids are, it's just grown and grown. And Robinson is like, they love it. The kids love it. They see me in the hallway and they're like, are we going to do poetry jam? Yeah.
that's
Um,
awesome.
I will invite you. Um, you want to be a judge?
Yes, please.
Okay. I need judges. That would be
Yes,
great.
please.
That would be
I
great.
would love to.
I just totally hijacked your meeting and made you be a judge. That's awesome.
Oh no, I love that kind of stuff. I'm very, I tread very carefully on, being a judge in certain things because I'm so heavily involved in this. But if
At a
it's
high
something,
school, you don't have anybody at
yeah,
a high school.
exactly, exactly.
And you will cry. I will bring tissues because
Oh,
if you've
well,
never judged a high school poetry jam, they really, really come forth with all of their feelings. So it's a
yeah.
really good time. So I will, I'll let you take over. Hi everyone. We're just on our own little planet over here talking about my poetry jam at Robinson. But I'm Amy Marie, if those that don't know me, I'm the president for a few more months. And then Jenny's taking over. Yep.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
So we have a small little group. Before we get to, oh, by the way, I'm Jenny Moon. I'm the Hillsborough County Reflections Chair. And before I get started with the presentation, I just want to see, in particular, if we have, and again, only because we have a small group, if this is mainly local chairs, or if we have anybody that's starting new, or haven't don't have the program yet. I don't know if anybody's able to perhaps maybe put it in the chat.
I'm a chair at Robinson. I came back just to chair reflections because I didn't have a chair. So don't have a student there, but I am actually going to do the program.
Okay, well, I'll get started with the slides, and feel free to kind of, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, if there's anything particular that you'd like for me to go in depth in, just let me know. Just wanted to really gauge and see if anybody was brand new to this so that I can, perhaps hyper focus on that subject. But let me go ahead and screen share real quick. I'm sorry, give me just a second. Okay, we do have a new person. Wonderful. Okay, I'm sorry, give me just a second. Can anybody see the screen?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Can you see the presentation?
No.
Uh-oh. Oh, it's loading right now. It just gave me I'm sorry. It should come up.
There you go. We see it. I see it. I think we all do.
Okay, awesome. All right, so for our 2024 reflections program, start off mission is to make every child's potential reality by engaging families and communities to advocate for children. So we definitely carry out this mission through all of our programs. And these are, I actually share this fact with a lot of people. because you an overview of how long the program's been around. I'm going to read through each one. I'll let you do that. But the most important one that people seem to find interesting is that the program ended in 1969. So it is one of the oldest programs at National PTA in the arts for all students to engage in education, and it's a great program for that anyone can start at their local reflection charities. Again, a quick little overview. Registered PTAs participate this year's program, National PTA, as of I would say last week, because that was the last check, and the new report will be coming out at the end of this week. We're still holding strong at about a little under 40 schools that registered, and I know there are far more schools are planning on participating, so please don't wait. Try to register on the national. It's also on our Hillsborough PTTA Reflections page. It's a quick link, just so that we, National PTA, will know that everybody is participating in the program. Distributing program materials, we should already be in this part of the duty, and everyone should already kind of started with this. Again, we'll go over this in detail. Recruit volunteers early, collect entries and coordinating judging. That happen in the near future in the next couple of weeks. Advance top entries to the next level. And of course, I think the most important part is to celebrate and recognize all of our students participating in the grant. And here is the schedule and deadlines. This is far, I think, the most important as local chairs to know. Very important information. So for local units, if you look in the first section, set your submission deadline in keeping or county, which is us, the Hills County TSA and PTA deadline, which is November 17th, 2023. So at this point in the game, being that we're almost end of September, everyone should already set their deadlines. Now, if this information is new to you, you can always, your deadlines now, you still have time, so it's not too late. And the bit of information for this evening, the submission intake. So after much research and consideration, we have decided to accept submission entries that advance to county in two different formats. The first one is a digital submission to advance your entries to us through a Google form link. The link we will post on our Hillsborough County PTA Reflections page on the website. So keep up for that. The link will take you straight into the Google Doc form. It is very self-explanatory. It gives you step-by-step what to upload, what forms. And again, this is for local chairs that are advancing entries up to the county council. And please remember that you are advancing the top 3 in each category. So that will be in all the different categories, 7 categories precise, and advancing it per grade division as well. Now, the second part of submission intake, we will be offering an in-person intake, and that will take place on the 11th of Saturday. So that's a 1 week prior. So if anybody is ready to submit their entries, we'll offer it the 11th of November. It's a Saturday. And again, on Friday, the actual deadline date, November 17th. And as the details will be posted on our website, we'll also share our social media, and I'm sure that we will send it out to everybody that get the information. And on that note, I also want to add on there, it's not on the slides, but we did post for our local unit chairs to fill out a Google Doc, Google form, sharing your contact information, email, phone number, school name, and so on and so forth. That link was on our social media page, which is our Hillsborough County Reflections page. We'll also upload that onto our website. It's very important so that we can be able to share information with you guys as quickly as possible, especially the submission information is probably the most important. So for the next section, the county councils, this is more for us. This is just an overview so everyone can see the levels, the different levels of reflections. So after it gets submitted to our county council, then we go advanced winning entry to the state, which is our Florida State PTA. And then from there, we also, and the Florida State PTA advances winning entries to the national PTA. So it gives you a quick overview of all the different levels. So it goes from local, county, state to national. Someone did inquire today and asked about what about region and what about district? For our area, we have these precise levels. The reason why national PTA's reflections entry forms and the guidelines state, regions and districts and stuff, such is that certain states, instead of having a county, they have district, and instead of having, county again, they have regions and all kinds of different levels. So it's so that everybody has an option. One part of reflections that overseen quite often is the reflections theme search. Now this is available for everyone to do, for every school. It's like a portion of reflections. Of course, the main focus would be the entries and the artist submissions, but this is also another part of reflections that not many people participate in, and which I would love to see more. It's basically you can ask your students to submit a theme. Now, when you're submitting this, you're not submitting into county or anyone else. You submit it directly to Florida PTA. Again, all this information is on our website under Reflections page. The submission deadline to Florida PTA is October 20th, which is up really soon. So we have a little under a month to go if you would like to partake in this. Again, it's a very simple form. There's an entry form you fill out, student information, and they just simply suggest a theme for the following. It actually doesn't pertain to next year, it's the following year. So 2 years from now. And this is just an overview of the student that won for this year's theme, which is I Am Hopeful Because. So step 1 to the whole reflections program entails registering. Again, I mentioned that prior, and connect, and also to promote and recruit. So again, registering through National PTA so that we all know which local units are in compliance and are able to participate in reflections. Make sure you do the first school via your PTA or your PTSA. And kicking off your program, National Arts and Humanities Month, we're kind of in it. I believe it actually passed, but there's always different ways to promote your program by sharing information that you see online, whether it's through creating flyers for your local unit or simply just share. I know that our county council does an excellent job of sharing all kinds of resource information. So you can always connect your social media that way with your families at your school. And again, sharing your actual entry guidelines pertaining to your own local unit and letting your families know that it's happening, keeping up with the deadline and reminding families when the deadline's near, and coordinating all of that. And then of course, the last part, well, it's not the last part, but recruiting volunteers for your reflections committee and delegating tasks. Also very important because it is a lot for just one person to take on, although it is feasible, but having committee members dividing up the duties such as program promotion, coordinating judging, and of course, hosting the celebration events. Second step, customize, distribute. And this again pertains to promotion of the program at your school. So once you announce that you are doing reflections at your school, you'll be able to share flyers or different kinds of information. I know many schools do PowerPoints, slides. I know I created one for our school, which has gone over really well. It kind of gives you a way to explain the programs, because a lot of the family, parents, students are sometimes wondering, what is this exactly? So using these different types of material, explain and over explain, and sharing deadline information and how to submit entries, all of that, and of course the rules and instructions and guidelines to each category. And we'll go over that in detail in the next couple of slides. Entry form. This is one of the most important, and it kind of breaks it down on how to fill out the entry form. So the top portion, the local unit reflections chairs must complete all fields in the PTA box. So the part that's highlighted in gray is to be filled out by the actual reflections chair, not the parents or the students. and fill out the information as accurately as possible, and writing clearly if you're not filling it out digitally, to make sure that it is printed clearly for everyone to see. And then, of course, the bottom portion, everything underneath the gray area is for either the student and the parent to fill out. And there's different sections. Of course, the top student information is very important. And one of the questions that's been coming up quite a bit this year is whether to student email address for middle and high school students, or to put in the parent email address. We're advising that you do both, because what we've learned in the past is that student email address, the information has gotten kind of lost and not shared with the parent. And so if we can get everyone's information on, you had to pick and choose one. The parent information for the email and contact is most vital. The next portion, student and parent signatures. Another part that came up again, we've been getting inquiries about student signatures and whether that is required. We say signature for the student portion. We're saying just if they can write their name, especially for the younger ones. But it's required for them to sign, as for privacy reasons and for us to be able to share their artwork. The submission and the grade division, submission category and the grade division is also very important for local chairs. So now that you are offering all categories, you can leave the form as it and share with your fans. But if you are only offering some of the categories, you can take this into Adobe or whatever that you may be comfortable using. Or if you don't know and you have an app, then you are definitely can email us and we can help you get the entry form. So essentially, if you're only offering visual arts, you can take away all the other options just to not cause confusion, and just leave the visual art portion on there. And you can make this to your own that works for your school. And the bottom portion, the title is absolutely required for title of the work. And this is original title written by the student, up the idea from the student. And the detail part, we get a lot of questions as well. What do you mean by detail? What do you put there? So essentially, it depends on the category. And these are all in the guidelines, so you can find that in there. Let's take literature. Literature has a minimum word count, actually a maximum word count. So you would write on the detail portion how many words were in their artwork or in their entry. Or let's take film production. You're going to write down on the detail portion what kind of file and also the length of the film, and so on and so forth. So the detail portion is also very important in this section. And of course, the last one, the artist statement, very important as well, and also required. And this is a big portion of the judging. So the judges in their the rubrics that we give them, the judges will look at the artist statement and take that into consideration when they are doing the judging of the actual artwork. So please make sure for all the local chairs, when you are accepting these entry forms, that you double, triple verify all the information and make sure everything is filled out correctly and all the required elements are on there, because it would be a shame if they made it onto the next level and we didn't have the correct information and somehow it didn't go on to the next level. And step 3, coordinating judges. This is a really fun part, I think. Again, hopefully everybody has already began the process of recruiting judges for their program at their school. Consider the following potential community members. So on here we have having school or district administration serve as judges. Again, when we're doing judges, the art entries are to be anonymous. So please be sure to remove names or cover it up, and so that everything is anonymous when you are using school or district administration, just in case they might actually know the artists. Local art professionals, this is a great resource. We have a ton in our community. You can reach out to all the different dance schools, music schools, virtual art teachers. We're using one of them for our local unit. Any artists, art business, art galleries, you're surprised, just asking out, just calling and reaching out and asking if they'd be willing. We get a lot of positive feedback and a lot of judges that are willing to serve for the program. formal judges and reflections advocates, anyone that's, knows what it is. There's plenty of, there are parents, perhaps using parents not within your school is best practice, but other members that were part of the PTA, TSA, who have experience, perhaps past reflection chairs, and so on and so forth. Students and art professors from local colleges and universities resource. We have colleges in our town that you can reach out to. You can do a simple Google search and find their information. So you can email requests, and having an email that we do have one that we have on file that we offer to our local chairs. If you're like, I don't know how to ask or what I should say in the email, feel free to reach out to us, and I'm more than happy to share with you guys the like a standard general email that we would send in recruiting judges, that is. And former state level reflections winners and recent graduates. This is a fun one. Any students that have been part of the reflections program, you can always kind of find out this information by looking at past winners. You can go onto the Florida PTA website if need be, or you can go to the National PTA website. They also share that information as well. So recruiting judges is very important. And as you can see on the right side of the screen, that is the rubrics that we offer the judges, criteria that we ask that the judges use for judging our student entries. And again, this is all in the guidelines that is posted on our website. Step 4, advancement and celebration, probably the most fun part. So advanced finalists to the next level, according to our Hillsborough County guidelines and deadlines, local units are to send their top 3 entries in each category division to the county. All advancing entries must be uploaded to, and this part, I'm so sorry, I should have edited it. We are not doing Dropbox anymore. As I previously mentioned, we are using the Google form links instead. But the deadline is still the same. It's November 17th. And instructions on how to submit will be posted on our website, and we will also be sharing that information. Celebrate your students. Assign awards by art categories and grade division. So now, in terms of celebrating your students, you can do many different options. So if you go into one of our great resource, which is a shoppta.com website, they sell reflections ribbons already pre-made. So those are great options, and they're very affordable. Or you can reach out to perhaps your business sponsors at our school that might be wanting to donate a prize, or perhaps help donate monetarily to purchase trophies for your students. Again, this is up to local chairs based on their budget for their unit and what they feel like is most appropriate for their school in terms of awards. Host a student recognition event for the families. Again, that just means having some kind of award ceremony or a recognition event at your school. You can always tie it into different events that might be happening at your school, but definitely this is the one part that you don't want to skip out on, showcasing your student work at the school and in the community, whether it's through the award ceremony or whether you have an art show to share everybody's work. You can always utilize spaces in your school or go out into the community to find different venues. And step 5, don't forget to wrap it up. Make sure to thank your students and your parent leaders, school personnel, judges, and anyone that was your program. So doing this will help you set yourself up for an even more successful year the following. Thanking them is, of course, the most important. And returning in non-advancing works and contact students who are advancing in the competition. So again, just communication is key. Thanking everyone, and of course, relaying any kind of information that you need to, of course, for the advancing students as well as non-advancing students as well. Host a debrief with your volunteers committee, just so you can have a list of resources, what you have done, best practices, so that you can make it even better the following year. And updating your PTA on the results, and record notes and contacts for next year's reflections chair. This is a part, at the end when you're done and you're wrapping everything up, you kind of, are like, okay, we're done. But really, to set yourself up for the next year, it's really important to gather these information, what worked, what didn't work, and what you can work on next year. All right, so we're going to kind of go over the categories. I'm not going to spend too much time on this as it is already all in the guidelines. art categories and grade divisions. So for the categories, as you can see, it's listed on the side. There are 6 categories: dance, film, literature, music, photography, and visual arts. And then the grade divisions are split up as you see on the right-hand side. For dance category, I want to touch upon just like the key points that we've been getting a lot of questions on. Whether it is a, actually, no, it's more pertaining to group work. So for a group choreography, we've gotten this question quite a bit. Can each student submit an entry per student that's in the actual dance? The answer is no. So if it is an ensemble work, only one of the students, the one person that makes the entry for that particular artwork. What that means is that that one student is the main choreographer, but does not mean that that one student has to perform in the actual art piece. So just keep that in mind. If it's a group ensemble, only one entry for that. And of course, you see the video requirements down there. You will notice this year with our Google form for submissions, you will not be able to upload unless it is in this exact format. So please make sure when you're accepting entries from your families, your students, that it abides by these guidelines. Otherwise, you'll have a very difficult time uploading it and advancing the entry. Film production category, as you can see, the details: short film styles, including animation, narrative, documentary, experimental, or media presentation. The student that is submitting the entry is a person that is the actual editor, director, and the screenwriter for the film production category. And again, the requirements are all listed on here. And I just want to point out that PowerPoint is not, it is prohibited, meaning that it will not be accepted. So if you happen to get one, you might want to let your students know that so they have enough time to perhaps change it to a different format. Literature category. Accepted forms of fiction and nonfiction include prose, poetry, reflective essay, screenplay, play script, narrative, and short story. There are some other considerations on there that are very important. Please make sure that when you are accepting literature category that the word count is on there. It is important, even if it's off by 1 word and you advance it to the next level, it will not be accepted. Music composition, all music styles and combination of instrumentation are accepted. The only key point that I do want to point out here, which is not on this slide, but it is in the guidelines, is that middle and high school students are required to write the actual music piece, whereas the lower grade divisions are not. So an elementary student may record their piece and send that in just as the file, whereas middle and high school students will have to submit multiple files, a recording, and also their music writing as well. Photography category, photo must be a single print, a digital image, and the person submitting must be the photographer. So another question that we get a lot, can they take a picture of themselves? Absolutely. You can use a tripod. You can use other methods where they are actually the subject in the photograph as well. But the most important part is that they must be the photographer. And again, the key points of submissions are on the left-hand side, digital images and accepted file formats. One thing I do want to point out is that please do not accept photography in a frame. We're just accepting the photo, and it could be mounted on a mat or a poster board, no larger than 11 by 14. Visual art category, and this is probably the most popular category. Works of both fine and design arts are accepted, and you will see that including but not limited to architectural drawing, models, collage, narrated images, and so on. Again, in the guidelines. Very important that the entry forms framed. Again, we do get some entries that comes in a frame. Please make sure that there are no frames included when you are advancing these entries. And as you notice, there's 2D and 3D. Yes, we do accept 3D, and we get quite a bit of questions on that. Just make sure that if they do submit a 3D art, that when you are advancing the entries and you're doing it digitally, that we get 3 digital images of the artwork in all different angles. So front, back, and side. Special Artist Division. This one is also another popular. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Let's see. Oh, okay. So keep for the Special Artist Division, welcome students from all and offers non-artistic accommodations for students to fully participate fully in the PTA reflections. Students who identify as having a disability and services or IDEA, AA, or have an IEP, Section 504 may enter in the Special Artist Division or grade division most closely aligned to their functional abilities. So again, that is the key points are there. Accommodations. I'm going to quickly go over this. Non-artist accommodations. For example, adaptive technology, transcribing, holding a camera, helping their artist statement is not one of them, but perhaps helping them type it out or write it down. That would be a non-artistic accommodation. Assistants must refrain from being involved in the artistic process. Again, for example, developing an artist statement, choreography, music, lyrics, storyboards, and so on and so forth. So they may get assistance that is non-artistic, but we do want to let everyone know that's participating in this division to make sure that they are not actually in the artistic process. And I'm going to take a pause for a moment to see if anybody has any questions. I know I went over the category portion quite quickly. This would be a great time if you're new to the program. If you have any questions at all that we can help you.
Hey, Jenny, this is Kim Smith. I'm the chair from Liberty Middle School. And I know that we had one student who had submitted a theme, but I didn't know if there was a way. I'm not sure anybody who submits a theme is going to go through me. And I didn't know whether, like, how do I track that, or does that matter?
Actually, Florida State PTA, the Reflections Committee, track that for you. So once I'm actually the Reflections Chair for Florida State PTA to answer this quite precisely. So what we'll do is once that comes in, we usually let if the information on there and hopefully all the form is correctly, we will CC the local unit chair that the theme has been submitted and that we have it, and that will let them know and communicate when we finish judging and announce the winners for the theme search that will advance to national. So in terms of you just locally tracking your own, like for instance, what I did with our students, we shared the theme search students to participate in it, and I actually put it onto for them to submit is through our email, so that I can go ahead and relay that to the state. But it's kind of up to you how you want to do that. But if you've already are in the process of doing it and they've already submitted it, Florida State PTA will CC you or relay that some way, somehow, if the information is provided, so that chairs are aware that it's been submitted.
Okay,
to the
perfect.
question.
Thank you.
So,
Yep, no, that's great. Thanks.
anybody else have any other questions that we can help you out with, or you need some resources, or? Okay. I'm just going to leave this up here, and I'm a huge fan of talking on the phone. I know it's not, very popular these days, but if you're ever in a jam and you need a question answered as quickly as possible, feel free to text me at this number. Emails, I try to get to it on a daily, but it might take a little bit longer. But again, if it's something that's urgent and you really need a quick one, just go ahead and save my phone number. Feel free to call me or text me, and I will try to help you as much as possible. All right. Amy, am I going to pass the torch on to you?
Yeah, no, that was great. Does anybody have any questions or like hasn't even thought about starting it yet and is wanting to? I know LaQuandra was in here and she was talking about it, but I did speak to someone at Tampa Heights and they were thinking about it. And I always just suggest pick one, just pick one top, one of the subject areas and kind of focus on that for the first time out, because that can be a little less overwhelming. So if anybody has high school questions, I'm happy to help with that because that's where I'm at doing it in a high school. I partner with the
I did have a general question
yeah.
here. If we had a category where maybe there were only 2 submissions, we just would go ahead and advance those 2 submissions to the next round if that's all we had for a certain category.
Yes.
As
So
long
this
as long as everything is on the form, like
yes, as long as I was just going to say, as long
Yeah.
as the entry forms are filled in correctly and they followed all the rules and guidelines of that particular category, yes, then you would advance your 2 that submitted. So
Okay, thank you.
because
we had
some
to do that at our school before, so I'm very familiar with
Yeah.
this process. We only had
Yeah.
one submission for dance last year, and we ended up advancing that dance because it was only one.
Yeah.
That's what I was told. I hadn't done this before and I don't have any contact or I don't even know who the chair was previously. So I kind of feel like I'm starting from scratch, even though I know they've done it before. But from what I've been told is that we don't have huge participation. So I could very well see myself in that kind of situation where maybe I might have only 2 or 3 for a certain thing. And I just wanted to make sure I was following the desired protocol. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I have, it's Kim again. I have a follow-up question because we're sort of in the same boat, whereas it seems like whoever submits will move on to county. But if for some reason, I check through everything, I think it looks good, but there's something that's missing, will anyone let us know? Like, Jenny, would you come back and say like, hey, you need to fill out this one section? Okay, so because
Yeah,
my fear
absolutely.
is I don't want someone to submit and we think it's great and then get to a point where like, oh shoot, they forgot to fill out this section, or I didn't have a certain date in there that needed to be included.
Absolutely. We will double check and triple check. We don't want the student entry to not go through only because of one,
Right.
maybe, incorrect email or what may be. But again, yes, I will absolutely reach out and double check. And, as the state chair, we've had to do it at the state level quite a bit. So it goes in every different level and everyone will always check and double check and make sure that it's, accepted.
Okay.
As long as it's not like, it's not like if you pass the deadline and you come to us 1 month later.
No. We'll be on time. I just want to make sure because some of the dates I was given for the president, I was like, okay, like I'm going to put these dates in. I just want to make sure that, someone's going to look at it and say, okay, this is all acceptable and we're good to go.
we want them to go all the way to national for sure.
Absolutely.
I think the best advice I ever got was from a reflections chair long ago where I had 124 entries. I was just like losing my mind. And she's like, just give them to me. And the ones that I pass on to Florida, I'll make sure those ones are the perfect ones. She's like, I'll take whatever you give me. Especially at county, we're going to really make sure that all the signatures are there and everything's as good as it can, absolutely perfect because we want it to go to state and then we want it to go to national. So,
okay,
because I was losing my mind. She's like, I don't need signatures unless it's going to go to state. I was like, seriously, I was going crazy. So,
and here's also, there's going to be a checkpoint and the checkpoint is going to be when you go to try to advance your entries to county this year. You're going to notice that the Google forms that you're going to fill out and all the questions and the uploading is going to make you double check your own entries again. So it's set up in a way that, most of the times, to be quite honest, the biggest problem is usually because it's in the wrong format. Like it needs to be an MP4, but it's not, those are the biggies. And this year with this Google link, you're not going to be able to even upload it at all if it's not the correct format.
That's helpful, because then you're not feeling like, oh, I've done the right thing, and then it, 2 months later you find out you didn't. Yeah, I'd rather find out right away so I can fix it. Yeah,
Exactly. You'll see it. So my biggest advice at this moment in time for local chairs is do not wait till the 17th to try to advance your entries, because then what if you do have a bunch of files that are not in the right format? You're going to be spending, and I did this last year, for like hours and hours, like right before midnight, converting all these files through whatever apps, and it takes a long time to do that. So give yourself at least a few days, at least I would say minimum 2 days before the deadline, to start uploading your entries and advancing them, to see, okay, this was not right. At least I have another day to fix it, and reach out, whether you're doing it yourself, or you're having, whether the parent, or emailing and contacting the parent student back and saying, hey, can you resend this? Whatever it may be. So give yourself that buffer time to be able to rectify anything that's incorrect.
perfect. Thank you.
That's good information. I forget about that. Like the digital format is always like, oh, they sent it in the wrong one. Done.
If you're like 11:55 p.m. and we're really at a crunch, you can call me. I have all the apps in the world to convert everything. So if you're like, Jenny, I don't know what to do, feel free to call me. I will answer. I have a feeling it's always the night before the deadline. Everybody emails and calls. I will be more than happy to help you, switch over the file to whatever it may be. And if something happens and I can't help, then you can email that over and I will accept that as well. And we will convert it, with the time being. And again, you got to keep in mind that our deadline is a little bit earlier than a lot of the other counties. And I did that purposely just so that we will have that time as well as a county. So we can go back to you guys and say, hey, I know, you submitted it, but it might be incorrect or whatever. So we have more time to fix the situation, and, emergencies happen. So I totally get it. And I've learned from past experience to we need that time.
Give a buffer. Got to have a buffer. So
For sure.
Did you mention the event for the awards?
I did not mention the event for the awards.
Because I'm really excited about that, because the celebration part is the best part, obviously. We love to celebrate our kiddos. So Jenny, drum roll.
Yeah.
I wish I had a drum roll, but I really don't.
So you're talking about the award ceremony, right? Just to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So this year we're super excited. We are partnering up with the Tempest Project, which is in Ybor City, and they have offered us their super cool art gallery to hold our ceremony. We will be doing it in the month of December. So I'm excited about that time, because I always feel like December is such a celebration time for everybody. It's just so there's a different vibe, and I feel like we just could have a party every day for the entire month. So we'll be doing it at Tempest Project. It is they are an organization that promotes local artists, as well as bringing in international artists to our city, because they're in the process of promoting and converting and advancing and all kinds of, you name it, they're doing it, to make Ybor City one of a nationally recognized art city. So with that said,
like it is. It's such a cool artistic community. So that's my most favorite part about all of it, that it's an Ybor.
Yeah, and you know what's even better, and I have goosebumps right now, we are going to be one of the first programs that they bring in that involves art in the community and doing it and celebrating it in their space. So everybody gets to check out the space that it's an ongoing project. So they're continuously planning on, change, how do I say this? To remodeling the city of Ybor. So we will be like right in it, right at the first, and we'll be doing our ceremony. It'll be the first one that they do with the city, any kind of like public school programs and education and art. And as a matter of fact, they are looking into perhaps involving, either it's Hillsborough County or other, local, whether they're going to go local unit. I don't know that information precisely, so I don't want to share and jump ahead, but they are hoping to bring in Reflections as one of their, programs that they can offer students a space. Yeah, they're not quite there yet, and they're not ready, but offer space where they can come in and collaborate with real professional artists from all over the world. And I was so honored to meet some of them. They have currently an artist from China, an artist from Germany, an artist from France, and an artist from Australia, I want to say, that are working on big projects in Ybor City right now. So, they're hoping to collaborate in that sense. But the first step is they're allowing us to have our ceremony there, which is super exciting. You guys are going to love it. It's so fun and so cool. And I haven't seen anything like this yet in Tampa. So it really just gets me really excited. And it will be tentatively right now, it's December 13th. Hopefully it'll stay that way. And everybody will be invited to come out, especially our local chairs, for all your hard work, to come see into fruition all your hard work and everything that's happening. So yeah.
That's so awesome. LaQuandra, she says she's late in the game. Do you think we have enough time?
Absolutely.
It's been a rough year. The other stuff you wrote there with the reinstatement and all that, reach out to me later and we'll see if we can figure out something. If you need help with that, we'll get you help with the reinstatement with the other position.
I don't.
Let's talk about that. Like, are we too late? Do we feel like
not at all?
Not at all. Not at all.
It's the end of September, but this is the kind of stuff that like I thrive in. Like I love last minute pressure. So if you can get your flyers out and your promotion and let your families know within the next week or two, and then have your deadline be, honestly, having your deadline and not giving so much time to could work to your advantage. Like, because then, the students feel the pressure.
They don't forget about it.
Exactly. So that kind of might work to your advantage. Like it's a new program, your deadline's coming up. So since our deadline is November 17th, I would recommend your deadline be somewhere at the end of October, perhaps even the beginning of November. How quickly you can turn around and judge that and submit to us, we can work with you on that. I mean, if it means that we get at least a couple of entries in, that's great, So if you need help with that, we already have flyers, resources from National PTA where the flyers are already made. All you have to do is go in there and put your name and put your email address and put your contact info on there. So that part, you can even utilize that. I'm more than happy to share that with you. And you can email us for all of these resources at reflections@hccptaptsa.org. And yeah, again, it's not too late. So set your deadline to the end of October, beginning of November. Share your materials in the next week or 2 weeks, probably at least. Share it, whether you do it social media or a flyer to all your families through your school administration. You can ask them to do that. Yeah, not too late at all.
Yeah. And like I said, like if you just pick one category, maybe you have a really good relationship with your ELA teacher and they're willing to do the literature category and just maybe the poetry, they could do the poetry prompt or something with I am hopeful because, and have them do that prompt and create that, that's even an option. Or the visual arts would be with our teacher or the drama teacher or somebody like that. So
yeah. Just an example from the past that I remember, a school only offered visual arts. They ended up, whereas in the past they offered all of the categories, but that particular year, their new art teacher or something was going on where they only did visual arts. They got hundreds of entries just by offering one category rather than offering all 6 categories and all of that. So you might take that route, since you feel like, a little bit of a push. Maybe just do visual arts, literature, whatever your school, whatever you feel like would best fit your school.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is just, connecting with your educators and sharing the program and just asking them if they would share it out to their students or add it in as a special exercise that they could do during class or something like that. So our art teacher in middle school she just add it to her first quarter curriculum every year, because I talked to her about it in summer and be like, this year it's I am hopeful because it's so cool. Do you want to add it? And it had that reflection piece is super critical because it has that written response. And so it connects with our curriculum really well. So because it has that writing piece, so teachers really seem to like that part of it. when they want to add it to their curriculum. So
And not to say that in the past the themes have been, but this year's
Yeah.
theme I think is so on point and
Yeah.
so wide and open and to interpretation, and really like you can do anything. And there's so much to be hopeful about, like especially with the students. I just think it's great. So yeah, circling back, don't not do it because you think you don't have enough time. Do it, and I will come and help you in person if you need me to.
Oh, she said it. It's being recorded, just so you
Yeah.
know.
I love flyers. That's like one of my favorite things to do. So I will create a flyer for you too if you need it.
Yeah. Please reach out if you guys decide to do it. I think we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. One of the things I wanted to touch on is some of the compliance stuff, bylaws, dates, all that fun stuff. If you don't know and they don't know where to find it, just leave it blank. I got all that. I will help Jenny fill that in for the ones that are advancing. We're not going to disqualify anybody at the county level. We will reach out to your PTA if your PTA is not in compliance and say, hey guys, could you submit your bylaws, or hey, do you need help with an audit or whatever? But we're never going to say no to a student. We're going to try to get you guys support to get the things you need done. We'll fill in the details that need to be filled in, and we'll help you guys. We're not here to exclude children. We're here to be inclusive. So we will do whatever we can to make sure that you guys, our kiddos, get advanced and everything goes through. There's no hiccups for them.
And just to maybe make you feel a little better about that part that Amy just mentioned, we have gotten quite a few emails asking what's my due date and all of that.
Yeah.
We're able to look that up. So don't be shy. If you're like, you know what, this is just one too many thing I have to do.
Yeah.
Just shoot us an email. Just say, hey, can you help me figure
Set
this
my
part out?
bylaws date, whatever you need. I have a record of all of them, so I'm happy to look them up. All right.
Any other questions, or if we can help you in any way? I know we keep saying we'll help you, but we really will help you. So just email us, and don't forget that you can also find all this information on the website. Exactly. And follow us on social media, because we try to put anything that's new. Is that me?
I don't know. Maybe.
Anything that's new and updated, we do utilize the social media page as well. So follow us on Facebook, please.
While we're on the subject of that little banner up top on the student submission entry form, where it's saying council PTA, district PTA, what exactly is it wanting there? Region PTA. Am I selecting which one I am?
So for that part, you would only be filling out the county, because we only have a county. And then there's the last part is state. So you just put Florida PTA. So that's it. We don't have a region and we don't have a district one. So the reason why the form is like that is we have to remember that National PTA creates these entry forms, and each state, they're different. So some states have a region, some states don't. Some states have district instead of county, and so on and so forth. So for us, it's only the county part and the state part.
Okay.
And you're just writing the name. PTA.
Just the name.
Exactly. That's all you need to do.
And then for phone number, like a phone number for the chairperson, or is it a phone number like to the PTA, the school?
So it would be great if we can do the local chairperson's phone number, only so the reason why the phone number is there is so that when it gets up to different levels, if there's something wrong with the entry form, we can call you and ask.
Right.
So it would be the local chair would be the best number to put down.
Okay.
Some people are not comfortable with sharing their phone number, so they put the school phone number down so that we can contact the school and somehow get in touch with the PTA or the PTSD that's running the program. But again, the best would be your local chair's phone number.
Okay, thank you.
Or even your president, maybe. I always put my personal, but
We've gotten up where they were not comfortable sharing their information, which is fine.
Maybe ask the president. Maybe they put their. I wouldn't want that one thing to be like a kiddo not getting
it's funny
their work forwarded.
because there's a little bit of a thing going on right now with the student signature. And I'm not sure if I told you, Amy, but I just want to let the people that I know here. So some parents have reached out in concern of sharing student signatures as like a privacy thing. So I did take this up to National PTA to ask them for their advice. So they are mulling the idea over of perhaps not requiring a student signature and just only requiring the parent. So if anybody on here was one of the ones that reached out or curious about it, we are working on that,
Okay.
trying to get the right answer, but that's something that is above our pay grade. So we have I've taken it
We'll find
to
out.
national. Yep,
Good.
we'll find out
Feedback's
soon.
good. We can we definitely share it with them. I'll definitely share that too while I'm there, like I said. So
Yes, I did mention to the National PTA Reflections coordinator, Ellie
Good.
Miller. So she's aware of it. So
Mhm.
just wanted to mention it just in case.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, even just having them print their name, it's not. I think that's fine. All right. Well, I think we're good. We do have another training coming up at 7. So we got 4 minutes, or Erica's going to boot us off of here. Because she's pretty serious about it. And we don't mess with her. So if you are a local unit leader that needs a little support, jump on that one. The next Zoom is all about president, secretary, treasurer, or just about anything. If you have questions about leadership or whatever's going on, we're happy to help. So thank you, Jenny.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, I'm here for you.
Yeah, please reach out to Jenny, utilize her, because she's just not busy enough.
Yeah, not at all.
Not at all.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you so much for coming.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, ladies,
Thank
so much.
you.
Have a good evening.
Take care.